We're going to be talking about everything and anything you need to know on how to take your client from dark to a high impact blonde. I'm going to be using all Joico products. I started, like I said, prepping my doll head with Pro Series Defy Damage 1. And reason being because I want to protect her hair. I want to make sure I set myself up for success. And I do want to have a greater even lift without compromising her hair. So this is what this is going to give me, that insurance, okay? This is a number one, this is number two. They're married, mom and dad. I'll be using Pro 2 at the bowl. We're gonna be teasing, and that's when number two is gonna come into play. The way you use it, I'm gonna demonstrate fast because I already did it. Her hair has Pro 1. I want to show you the front because it's super important. Once you have a client sitting in the chair, you don't want all the fumes going towards her head. So what I do is like I do a diagonal forward subsection, about an inch wide. I'm going to clip her hair out. I'm going to hold her hair away from her face. I'm going to shake the can vigorously. And I am going to start spraying away from her face. That way she doesn't smell the product. I'm going to take another one, clipping that one away, holding the hair away from her face, and spray. I'm going to make sure my sprays are continuous from the root to the ends, okay? Last subsection. Away from the face. She is done. I'm going to be using today Blond Lightning powder, and it's this baby right here. It's going to give me up to 9 levels of lift. I love it. It's a blue base powder, so it's going to be counteracting warm tones from the get-go. I don't necessarily mix right away. Her sectioning, it's gonna be super easy. That's why I'm mixing now. Usually I mix right before I start. All right, I'm gonna mix that. I'm starting with volume 20 because it's a doll head. If it was a real person, starting at volume 10. That's usually what I do. Her sectioning, it's gonna be from middle of the head all the way down. And usually you guys, if you guys have seen any of my classes before, I usually go lower just so it veils over. This time, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna go middle of the head and straight down, right in front of the ear. And reason being is because I'm gonna take my back subsections kind of wide, and at the top, it ends with like more like regular weaves to baby lights. That's it, right on top of the ear. If you guys have any questions, please ask away along the way. No question's a stupid question. I'd love to answer if I have an answer, and if not, I'll make sure I'll find an answer and DM me, and I will have the answer for you. Because I'm always curious about everything and anything, right? All right, so simple. In the back, I'm gonna turn her around so you guys can see. This is gonna be how I'm gonna start my subsection. It's gonna be almost like a deep V. I'm gonna take the hairline using my fast foils. Usually that's like my foil of choice. You guys can use any foils of your choice. I like this one because it helps, especially when the client is so dark naturally. It helps with the light. Putting it on my board, I'm gonna load my board. I'm gonna load it up. I'm gonna put it to the side. take one of those sides. I'm gonna weave out a highlight. I'm gonna pin it up. And all of this subsection right here, I'm gonna take and I'm gonna tease. When I tease, I'm gonna make sure that I'm not grabbing the hair like this at the ends. It's gonna be nice and straight, kind of like as wide as it comes out of the head. And then with my teasing, I'm going to be moving all of those little hairs out of the way. Out of the way. And because she has a lot of baby hairs and a lot of clients too, we're gonna clip it away. That way it's not on my coil. It doesn't fall on my coil. I'm gonna let the hair fall. This look is going to be a very dimensional, kind of lower maintenance towards the roots, but very blonde on the ends. I'm gonna make sure it's saturated. I'm gonna push that product in with my brush, moving the hair around, and then I'm gonna soften it with back, almost like back, going against the grain of the hair, back brushing it. If you don't like something, just go ahead and clean it right away. That right there. And let's not, I'm gonna start sandwiching my coils. It's easier to pull out at the end and then clean up the section. So you guys can remember, the way I like to tell my clients when I'm in the consultation is, do you want the color to whisper or to scream? So this is a good way for you to remember. This color is going to be whispering around the root area. It's going to be very dimensional, low maintenance-ish. And then at the end, it's going to be really, really blonde. So we're going to be tipping out at the end all the hair that's in between. For the roots, for the baby light, getting a little bit of that. I'm gonna grab it. And I'm gonna take my highlight all the way to the root. Again, I'm using Blonde Lightning powder from Joico. It's gonna give me 9 levels of lift, plus 9 levels of lift. I have Crafter Wicked High Damage Pro Series 1. That's gonna ensure the integrity of her hair. My highlight, I'm going to fold so I know that's a highlight, and the ones that I'm not sandwiching, then that's gonna be a basically the rest of the hair. I'm gonna do another highlight. I'm gonna clip that away. I'm gonna tease, holding the hair as wide as it comes out of the head, flickering all of those baby hairs out, clipping it. I'm gonna preload my board. Dropping the hair. I'm gonna move this right here. And as you guys are painting, you guys can determine, do I want to create an angle? Do I want to go straight across? What is your vision as far as like the color? That's what's gonna be important. If you guys do create an angle, it's gonna fall what? Much softer. If you guys go in horizontal, it's gonna be a little bit more of impact. So because that's like my goal, I'm gonna literally just go straight across and kind of diffuse that with my brush. At the top, not getting into the piece area, and that's very important. Sometimes I do get that question, well, how do you do it? What do you do not to get, like that much warm? I don't get into that because then I'm creating a color correction basically for myself. I'm gonna figure that out. And I am going to be doing my highlight all the way to the roof. And you guys are gonna be able to see the afters on Salons Centric, Joico, and my page. For those of you who don't follow me, it's at May Hair, M-A-I Hair. I'm gonna be posting the afters.
Should I pin your Instagram in the comments? Should I pin your Instagram in the comments?
All right, so we're done with the hairline. If you guys notice, I don't like to push the product. It's just a preference. From now on, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start taking my subsections in zigzag. I don't know if you guys have seen that a lot. I think it just gives a more natural, diffused result. I'm gonna go in again on a deep V and flipping this away. Then at the highest point of my zigzag, that's gonna be my highlight. It makes it that much easier. I just come in, boom, highlight, done. See, and you guys can see, you guys have to be able to read through it to end with a softer look. This I'm gonna grab, I'm gonna tease again. I'm doing about 4 teases, like making sure that all the hair goes up at about the same level. Grabbing my foil, preloading it. The reason why I like to preload my foil is because it ensures me saturation. That's the trick to lifting really dark brunettes to very light blondes. I'm gonna grab the hair, basically repeating the process. And from here on, just because I'm seeing visually what I want to create, I am gonna go in with a angle. My angle is gonna be mimicking my section. And I'm walking that up to soften that line of demarcation. Sandwiching it. The reason why I'm not folding it is because it's a little bit of a thicker subsection, and I don't want to create weird lines as we fold. Then I'm dropping the highlight, and I'm not gonna tease my highlight. I'm just gonna go in and with my foil all the way to bringing it all the way to the root, making sure I'm not taking any of those like baby hairs. Saturating is the name of the game. So what we're doing here is basically replicating balayage. How are we replicating balayage? If you guys do a balayage, true balayage is open air. Why I'm putting it in a foil is because she's really dark. So she's not gonna lift as much with just open air painting. And what I'm doing is like I'm taking the highlights are gonna build over the teeth part from the previous section, and then it's gonna look diffuse. So we're gonna go from like very diffuse to a lot. If she had more hair, if she had a lot of, for those clients that do have a lot of hair density, what I would do is like I would break up the middle. I'll show you guys in a second. I would take the highlight. Let's say this subsection is way thicker. I'm gonna tease her midsection, and then because the subsection would have been thicker at the very end, I'm gonna tease even more, or I'll leave some dimension out, then I will move it up to the front of the face because it's gonna create that round shape, and then I will just do the ends. That way you have the ends, the mid, and then the highlights failing over it. I hope that makes sense. It gets very repetitive, especially because she doesn't have a lot of hair. So for sure, I'm figuring all of those hairs out. I'll show you on the next subsection what I just explained. I'm gonna create that same angle, opposite way. Brushing it, perfect. Closing it. And then my highlight. Another thing, you guys, whenever you guys grab the product with your brush, wherever you place that product, that's like the most concentration. The reason why I went a little higher in there is because I'm gonna end up coming in and then diffusing it at the end. But if I wasn't doing this, I would probably place my product lower, just because then it'll be harder to walk it down, or you're not doing like the brushing portion of it. All right, so here we are, middle of the head. Let's do what I was just trying to explain. So I'm gonna grab a thicker subsection. I'm gonna go in still with a zigzag sub parting. Let's see. I'm gonna take my highlight. I'm gonna put this away. That's one. Now this one is too thick, as you guys can see. It's like the triangle where it meets. So I'm gonna break it into two. I'm gonna drop that. I'm gonna tease this portion. And all of this is very visual, right? Boom, she's teased. And then you can get creative, right? If you are looking at it, before I preload my bore, what I want to see is where it will fall. Here you can determine if you want to do a V, you can mark your foil, or if you want to go horizontal and then go and do that. So marking my foils, I know that it can go past that point. That's to create a V. Just because I want more impact, I'm going to load it, kind of like horizontal. Leaving that there. This is gonna be mid to end. I'm gonna make sure I work that product in well. And then I'm gonna go and back brush it. A little bit more product. There we go. Place my sandwich. Place that oil. And then I'm gonna take this and flip it over. Hold it lightly with a flat clip. And then right here, we're gonna piece this the most. So this is all that's left. And I'm only gonna do the very bottom. If her hair was like thicker, then I would use probably, let's use some more actually.
Someone asked, are you doing what? Foliage?
Yeah, anything, I mean, any, I don't know if I like the terminology, but any like mimicking of balayage and foil, that's literally balayage and foil, foliage. And then this is also like a tip out. And then I'm gonna back comb it, literally just the tips. That's it. And then you guys can literally imagine this visually. I'm gonna roast it, making sure my foil can go all the way to the top because it's gonna eat into what I did not, like the depth of it. So now you have your end stick out, the middle portion, and then my highlights right here. For the front, so here then, we're gonna do the highlight part, and then for the rest of the hair, I have like 2-3 more subsections. I'm gonna do those in a highlight version, and then I'm gonna end up tipping out whatever falls out from that highlight. And we're gonna be moving to the front. This is a super quick way to not only take your client from like dark to very light, but it's the same way to move faster around the head. Now, over. This is done. So right here, I'm just gonna go in with my zigzag motion, kind of like the same deal. And then you tip out the ends. I'm gonna move to the front of the head just for time, like time purposes. I want to show you guys the front. I'm gonna go in to her side, almost like creating what I want to do. It's create almost like a whole, because this could be a whole subsection. So I'm taking the part that doesn't belong to that line, whipping it away. Again, this is all about efficiency. I'm gonna tease this part, it's kind of thick. Yeah, I'm just gonna tease it. You guys can weave it, do the same steps. The reason why I'm teasing it is because, and not taking a whole highlight, it's because I want to have a lot of light and brightness towards her face.
Someone said they can't hear anything.
Huh?
Someone said they can't hear anything.
No way, you guys can hear me? Can you guys do a thumbs up if you guys can hear me? Or if you guys can hear me, please give me a thumbs up.
Someone asked, are you doing smudge root or shadow root too?
I'm gonna do a shadow root. I love my shadow roots. So here I'm going to take the same angle, kind of creating a, kind of like that, creating a round shape. Leaving some depth around the root area, kind of like what we were doing. Working that product in very well, and then backcombing it. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, there you go.
What is that? Got it. They said yes?
Yeah.
Sorry for that person that can't hear. Probably your connection? Not sure. All right, done. Here, I'm gonna go in. And this is up to you guys. A lot of people like to weave it, so you can go literally in with a like mini zigzag to create your highlight. And that's why I didn't weave on top of the subsection that I just did. Or you can do, I don't know, you can do like a smaller slice, like a thinner slice, baby size, if you will. Let me just perfect this real quick. I'm gonna take those out. That is from the tees at the bottom. I don't wanna eat into that and put product over it. So this can become literally one subsection. And I'm not taking like her lightness is gonna go all the way to the top, but I'm not worried about covering like to the roof. Because this is a very, like I said, very dimensional type of look at the top. Boom, that's my entire subsection. And this is still gonna give her a lot of brightness, a lot. I'm gonna wash that product in, just work it in very well. I'm like literally running out of product too, so it's time for me to mix my next formula, which is just blond lightning powder, and I did 25. I think we would be at 20 if we had like an actual person. And here we go.
Somebody asked, in other words, what is just one name for all these techniques combined?
What is it?
In other words, what is the just one name of all of these techniques combined?
What is what?
All the what is one word for all these techniques combined? Sorry, I kept moving when I was trying to read it.
Sorry guys. Oh yeah, I see it. Okay, another one. Oh, one name. Don't get hung up on the name. I mean, literally, this is my high impact blonde. I don't really get hung up on names. Literally, you take this technique, you do it with a slice, you put a weave differently, you made it your own. Everything and anything it's been created, and this is just like my philosophy. This is the way I just move faster around the head and how I visualize things, and I just know that if I just use the knowledge I already have to create. So if you want to see softer, then what do you do? Yeah, no, if you want to see more impact, then what do you do? Horizontal. If you want, you know, more dimension, then you probably want to go more in a vertical way. But this is just my high impact. And like obviously knowing like your end goal as far as the color. I'm gonna take another zigzag right on top of that. And here's like what I say when I'm envisioning, right? So I'm gonna take those highlights points of my zigzag, and that's gonna be my highlight. So I'm gonna clip that away. Why am I going in a zigzag? I mean, not in a zigzag, in a diagonal way right now. Because when the hair falls, visually, you want the highest point here. You want a little bit of that depth behind it, right? So I know this is gonna be my last diagonal because I want that to be kind of softer. I'm putting a lot of light. And then on top of this, like once we're done with this 2 subsection, everything here is gonna go horizontal. Just because I want a lot of brightness. I wanna create a lot of like, drama. I want her, again, I want her color to scream. If you guys want a dimension, it's my past class. What I will do, it's like I will take a thick weave. And when I say thick, I mean wide, like a wide weave, leaving dimension behind. This will be the dropout. This will be your dimension. That will make it a little bit more lived in. You'll tease this part right here, and then you put your baby or your zigzag highlight on top. Just because this is more dramatic, I'm leaving no dropout. Everything's going in the photo. So here we go. This is the depth I'm talking about. So if you guys can see, I don't know if the angle can see it, I'm literally standing more towards her face, creating that angle for me. If you guys, like if I come in front of her face and just go straight up, kind of like this, when I walk this hair, kind of like where it will fall, if you guys can see, it's gonna go higher here, lower here. That's just shape, just a round shape, kind of like how you cut hair. That's like what I'm creating with my moving and teasing. It's just faster. Do you guys like working with a board? I feel like I can't like just work without a board anymore. I become so almost messy. I'm mixing my next formula. And I'm going, what did we say this was, 25?
Yeah.
If this was a real person, it will be the next. So I started at 10, this will be 20.
Somebody asked, will this live be safe to watch later?
That's a very good question. Let's do this. I'm gonna save it because I really didn't ask prior. We can save it and then it'll be up to Swan Centric to leave it, like let it live in their site. And you guys, for those of you Spanish speakers, we are doing a class, same class in Spanish at 12. So if you guys came in late or if you guys didn't understand a step, catch me at 12 in Spanish. If you guys want to learn Spanish, there you go. A free class in Spanish at 12. All right, so I'm gonna go in exactly mimicking my angle. Pushing that product in.
Amber joined.
Pushing that product in, going in higher, then lower, and then back home.
Amber said, I love your work.
Ah, I love you, Amber. You guys, we are working here at the salon. They're being super quiet, but just so we can do the class from here. Can literally hear me. Okay, so when that happens, that literally happens a lot of the times. I don't know if you guys can see that. I kind of like push the paper, like working that product in, and now I'm like away from, like there's no paper there. Make sure you guys catch that. What I do is just like flip this over and give it more space because I want that to lift as much as the rest of the hair. And what you guys can do, if you need to walk like or to push the hair down, what I will do is with my brush, I go vertically and push the hair down.
They asked 12 Eastern or Pacific time?
Pacific time. I'm in West Hollywood, California. So we are going with Pacific time. Here, I don't want to, just because of the angle, there's just too much going on. There is the angle, there's the bottom, there's like the heaviness of it. So just to make it easier, I'm just going to sandwich it. Boom. Done.
They also asked for your Instagram.
I'm sorry?
That's your Instagram.
My Instagram is May Hair. That's my name, May. M-A-I Hair. And don't forget, you guys, to follow Joico as well. They do post a lot of education, salon-centric, as you guys can see. I'm gonna go in with my highlight as well, right on top, bringing that to higher. I'm not teasing it. You guys can tease it. If you guys do choose to tease it, don't tease it as much as your bottom, like the previous section, because then it will obviously become one. You have a lot of depth. Nothing will be blended at the top. Does that make sense? You can also do this for clients. Something like that was done to me to kind of cover my grays. The highlights will act as like your camouflage to cover your grays. That's for someone that doesn't want a high maintenance type of look and just to camouflage it, not to cover it 100%. Okay.
You said May Hair IG? Yes.
You got it. If you guys have any questions too, I always, when I'm not at the salon, I mean, it might be a few hours just because I also work behind the chair. You know, and just life gets in the way, but I try to respond within 24 hours. You might get a super late response around like 1 in the morning, but I make sure that I respond to everyone. Questions pertaining hair. All right, so I'm gonna bring my highlight all the way to the top, as you guys can see here, and I'm gonna hold this, boom.
Will we see results in here?
Yes, I'm gonna post results on my page. I'm sure Joico is gonna also post it on their stories. Real quick, because it's time to be done. Right here, we have a, almost like a triangle left, right? I'm gonna go in, just because, kind of like what I said before, I'm gonna go in with a, in a horizontal pattern. I'm gonna create my zigzag. I'm gonna clip this away. I'm gonna tease and put all of this in a foil. Tease, put it in a foil. Do not tease your highlight, put it in a foil. And kind of like the same here. Once you see, is she looking down a little bit? Once you guys see this is like all there's left, what I prefer to do is just highlights. Just weave it, tip it out. Weave, so weave, weave, and then the hair that's left, I'll move it forward, I'll tease it, and then I'll put it in a foil. That way you have a lot of softness. If she wants to like flip her hair and to, you know, like have a cool moment, like she's softer around like the top, and then she has a lot of blonde living towards the bottom, okay? I hope you guys enjoyed the class. Stay tuned for the afters. If you guys missed anything or want to watch the Spanish live, 12 o'clock, did I say Pacific? Pacific time, we're in California. I'll see you guys here in Salon Centric. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys.
Somebody asked something. They asked, in a salon by oneself, something like this, from how long will it take from start to finish?
Literally, it takes you less than 40 minutes. It's so the subsections are so wide and you're teasing a lot to kind of like make sure that you go through the whole hair, that it's not going to take you a lot of time. Okay, you guys. See you at 12. Bye-bye.